Bună seara, doamnelor, bună seara, domnilor, sunt Marius Constantinescu. Ediție limitată, intens muzicală astăzi, cu una dintre marile vedete ale teatrului liric. Invitatul meu este tenorul, dirijorul și compozitorul argentinian José Cura. This is your second time within the UNESCO Festival, and this time you present yourself as a composer and a conductor. But nevertheless, people here, as well as all around the world, still address your star tenor dimension. Are you okay with that?
Well, it's a privilege in any case to be addressed as a star tenor and not as a catastrophe. So it's already not so bad, all things considered. I cannot complain. Of course, I'm very lucky having done and still doing the career as a star tenor. But few people knows that my basic career, my original career, the reason I became a musician was because I was a composer and a conductor. And I started to sing like 10 or 15 years after all that activity. I discovered I had an important voice, and I discovered that through my voice, maybe I could. At the time, we were not talking about being a star. I was a kid, so it's not about being a star. It's about having enough work to feed your family. And that was enough at the time. And well, one day somebody discovered my voice, and one thing pushed the other. And because of the looks, which now is common because the opera singers are all very beautiful, but 30 years ago it was an exception. Yes. So I was one of the first ones to be more or less good looking and etc. Together with the voice, which sometimes was not all together. Some good singers were not good looking, and some good looking were not good singers. So it was a combination. They call it the package at the time, and which all these funny PR nicknames that you know very well because it's your job. And all things pushed the other, and I became the important singer I became, and I'm of course very happy because of that. And if today I can show my real self, it's because my name as a singer guarantees a lot of. Exactly. Absolutely. If not, nobody would care about Cura the composer, as unfortunately very few people care about many talented composers that are around, and we don't hear never, or we don't know that they exist because they don't have the chance. So I can only be happy.
Bonanza
here we are in the general manager's box, and my first question would be, you sing, you conduct, you compose, you direct, you design sets. Managing a musical institution would also be a challenge?
Will be probably, but in the future, very far future, because managing an institution is a bureaucratic work, and bureaucracy it's very complicated and make you lose a lot of time. So that's for the far future, hopefully.
Like I said, you studied singing, you studied composing, you studied conducting, but back in those study years, did you think that it was actually going to be the voice that would make you an international star?
I don't know. It's many years ago. We're talking about 1980, 81. Probably you were not born, or you were very young.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At the time, the secret was to survive, and then you thought how to survive and doing what. But in the beginning, is surviving. So singing came exactly because of that, because there was a big demand in the market. So singing said, okay, this is a good way of surviving. So let's start to sing.
Well, speaking about you as a composer, you present in the concert tomorrow night a piece written especially for this 25th edition of the festival. What led to its creation?
Well, when Marius Constantinescu called me, a great friend and an amazing manager, he said, it's the anniversary of the festival, I would love to have you there, and I would love to go for different Cura picture to show to everybody that Cura the composer is as good as Cura the singer. I know my music, and he said, I love your music, I want the people to love it too. So I could only say thank you to that demonstration of trust, because it's a huge demonstration of trust from a manager whose obligation is to take care of the success of his festival, of his organizations. And when you trust a full program to a composer, and mainly to a composer nobody knows as a composer, even if they know my name, it's a huge risk, a huge bet from his side. And I thought my best way to say thank you was to dedicate some music to the festival, to the anniversary of the festival. When I said I'm going to do it, then I immediately thought when I'm going to do it, because it was crazy. Yes. But then COVID hit, and all of a sudden I had a lot of time.
You had all the time you needed.
All the time I needed. So in the last year I wrote the Te Deum, also a guitar concerto and an orchestra suite. I mean, of course, COVID was very hard for everybody, and for myself included, but I cannot complain, because I really used my time to compose, which was the best of therapies.
There is a strong coherence in the concert tomorrow night, and the religious significance is an obvious one. How do the pieces fit in this vast mosaic that is the concert?
Well, the Magnificat I wrote in 1988. As far as that, I was 25 years old. My wife had miscarried 2 times, so we lost 2 pregnancies. As we have 3 kids now, we used to say we have 5. 2 are somewhere. So when we finally got the first one, I said, okay, it's time to write something for this so much wanted kid, and I wrote the Magnificat. Immediately after, when some colleagues of mine in Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires heard the draft of the Magnificat at the piano, looked at the score, they said, why don't you write a bigger thing? So a friend of mine, a tenor, said, write something where the character is Jesus Christ, and I would do it for you one day. Then life changes, one thing came after the other, like a snowball. I left Argentina, etc., and this Calvarium and the full Ecce Homo oratorium never saw the light in its original shape. So we did many times the Magnificat only alone, the Stabat Mater only alone, but it was not until 2017 that we did the whole piece, the whole oratorio in one shot. And it's not surprised because it's a 50 minutes music plus the prologue, which is usually done by an actor, yes. Which adds another 5 minutes. So it's altogether more or less a 1 hour experience, and it's not so easy to put on stage a 1 hour oratorio. I mean, it's the usual thing when you do a big oratorio, but one thing is to put 1 hour of Verdi, 1 hour of Mahler, one other thing is to put 1 hour of Cura. Nobody cares. So I hope in the future people will care and want it again, but until you don't break that wall, you have to be very, very, how do you say, optimistic, yes, but realistic also, no? So that's the origin of Ecce Homo.
A fost odată un rege.
The Te Deum, yes. Of course, you know, I just explained. And the Kyrie, I wrote a Requiem Mass in the 80s and 90s, and I was not very happy with the Kyrie of the Requiem Mass. And in 2016, all of a sudden, I stumbled on a beautiful Gregorian melody, which I developed into a long mantra piece, which repeats and repeats and repeats like a sort of dream thing of Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. And it was a great success when we did it separately, so I decided to cut out the original Kyrie from my Requiem Mass and put in Modus. So now Modus is the Kyrie of my Requiem Mass. So that's the origin of Modus.
Along the years, apart being a composer, a conductor, a tenor, you have added two other artistic dimensions to your personality, stage director and also set designer. One would say that you are the modern Renaissance man.
Yes, some other says that I'm a jack of all trades. So people take things. We judge other people, you, me, you, the cameraman, everybody. We judge other people through the filter of our own personal baggage. So we try to see or not to see, or to criticize or not to criticize in others what we have as a personal experience. And of course, people who are satisfied with themselves are only happy and proud that someone else can try its best with the things, the talents he has. And frustrated people would say, no, jack of all trades. So we go from the jack of all trades to Da Vinci, yes. In the same conversation, and it's okay, it's life. When you're young, you get angry with this. When you hit my age, which is not old, but it's old enough to have experience, you learn how to deal with that. And what I say to people is, yes, okay, apparently in the surface I may be doing many things, and you have all the right to suspect, because it's normal. So the only way for me to how to say, to remove your suspects is, your suspicions, is come and see what I do. You may like it or not, that's another conversation, but if what you see is professional, is serious, and there's a hard work behind, you cannot say that it's suspicious. So you judge people for the results and not for the appearance, which is basically what we all have to learn to do, no? And it's something you learn with age. And ultimately, I just cannot help it. I wouldn't stop doing it for the sake of protecting myself against what people will say, because people will say anything in any case.
This is the least important.
Exactly. That you do, if you do because you do, if you don't do because you don't do. So who loves you and trusts you will say great, who hates you will say bad, and that's it. Live with it and keep on going.
No, but I was curious, how does one dimension influence the other one? I mean, being a singer on stage, how does that help you when you are a stage director to create credible characters with your interpreters, or how to imagine also valuable sets? I mean, it has to be that primarily stage experience that put a mark on everything that you do.
Well, it's let me put it this way, if the most privileges of the situation. When I conduct, I think as a singer what I would need from the conductor, and I try to give to my singers what I would want from the conductor. And you can speak with any of my singers, and they will all say to you, it's so easy to sing with Cura, because he knows exactly what we need when we need it. Of course I know it because I'm usually in the other side. And when I direct, it's the same thing. I know what it works because I've been there for 30 years, and I know what it doesn't work. So I don't lose time on deliriums, you know. I just prepare the thing, and I know what it works because I've been there. And when somebody says to me, oh, this is not possible, this is possible, I say, no, look, I show you, it is possible. Now, I prefer you tell me, Maestro, it's not possible for me. Okay, fair enough. Let's find a way together. Let's work together, but don't tell me it's not possible, because I know it's possible because I've been there. I saw it. So you cannot cheat me really easily. And in that way, it's a great compliment one with each other. Some people used to say that I conduct like a singer, I sing like a conductor.
You know, I was thinking that being a conductor and also a stage director, this helps you heal some so-called wounds that other conductors or stage directors have left on your artistic self along the years?
Well, I belong to a very lucky generation. I don't know the youngest generation now if they can say the same thing, but I belong to a very lucky generation. I mean, I work with the Zeffirellis, with the Cavanis, with the Olmis, with the greatest. So I'm spoiled in that sense. So that's why I know exactly what works. And people will say, oh yeah, but Zeffirelli was old. Yes, I wish there would be a Zeffirelli today. So just shut up, you know. Yes. So.
And the stage director that knows music, really knows
music. You see, ultimately is, how can I say, it's like dancing in couple. Okay, when you dance and you trust your couple, you let your couple lead. Or you lead, or she leads, or you lead together, or you dance together. And so far, so good. But the moment your couple stumble on your feet, on your toes, you say, that hurts. Okay, so if you don't know how to lead, then I will lead. And that's the way it works. When you work with a conductor that knows his job, you say, please, do it. I'm yours. I'm your instrument. Lead me. So I have one problem less in my head. But when you work with someone who steps on your toes, you know that you need to take the lead because the show must go on. And in that case, you work double as the singer, and then you have the whole show on your shoulder. It's not funny. So people think, oh yeah, the ego and his people, the star singers who you want always to do what they want. No, every star singer will tell you the same. If I feel in safe hands, I let them lead, because then I relax and I only concentrate on what I have to do. But if I have to protect myself, because ultimately the people come to see the singer, not the conductor, in any case, then you have to take the lead. In my times, this was very rare because I work with the greatest. I mean, imagine being there with Abado, with Muti, with Meta. So I say, okay, guys, you do it, I follow. Today is not so easy.
Well, you live and relive these characters. How is it?
Well, that's part of a second skin, I think. When you have been in the business so long, and I have been on stage also so long, I have started when I was 12, and I'm 42, that means it's 30 years of stage. You develop this possibility of going in and out the character very easily. And I think it's a way of, again, a way of keeping your brains healthy. Because
Isn't it exhausting a bit?
It's exhausting, but it's much more dangerous to be in the character all the time. Because if you're in the character all the time, it's very dangerous, because all these characters, all these guys are very complicated, very psychologically very complicated. So it's good to joke in the middle in order to make things a little bit lighter, because if you take it so seriously, then you can be in troubles.
Well, you don't seem at all the obedient type, and I was wondering, where do you draw the line?
On my toes.
Okay.
If you don't step on my toes, I can be the most obedient guy. When I start a rehearsal period, I always say to the director, to the conductor, I'm your tool, use me. But use me properly, don't break me. Because if you're a good engineer or a good technician and you have a screwdriver and you use the screwdriver to dig your garden, then you are destroying your tool. So protect your tools and your tools will give you the best. Lack the respect to your tools and your tools will eventually make a revolution.
În anii 90 a fost tenorul senzație, înzestrat cu o voce imediat recognoscibilă, cu accente baritonale, un muzician foarte rafinat și nici pe departe, în ultimul rând, un bărbat cu o prezență ideală pentru roluri precum Andreea Chenier, Otelo, Radames sau Samson. José Cura a fost unul dintre acei tenori care au avut parte de o expunere mediatică și de o iubire fără precedent din partea publicului. Însă și pe el, ca pe atâția alții, faptul faptul că a cântat prea mult, prea tare și prea devreme, cumva l-a costat. Asta nu înseamnă însă că muzicianul José Cura s-a oprit, ci că a știut să identifice exact căile prin care să poată continua o carieră la cel mai înalt nivel. Yours is one of the richest and instantly recognizable tenor voices of the last decades. And I was wondering, whose voices do you think that are really, really beautiful and look up to even today?
Oh, that's a very dangerous question, and you know what? I'm too old enough not to give you an answer.
Okay. That's fair enough. Okay.
But I will tell you that the problem today, and now being a lot in the other side of the equation and doing master classes and working with young people, the problem today is not lack of voices, is not lack of talent, it is lack of charisma. That's the main problem today at all levels. Politicians' levels, sportsmen levels, artist level, is the lack of charisma.
And how do you explain that?
Internet.
Yeah.
Internet is the greatest tool, but it's also a mass tool of personality destruction. Because from the moment that everything is leveled with the same measure, you destruct anybody who puts the head up. And sometimes you have people who put the head up and you see, why? Because there's a picture of him smelling the ass of his dog, and that's viral. And you go, sorry. That's the reference. That's the problem. Again, internet, it's an amazing tool. We all use it. It's the Library of Alexandria. I mean, internet is amazing. As a knife, it's an amazing thing which you can use to eat and you can use to kill with the same knife. So the problem is not the tool, it's what you do with it. And internet, in many senses, is destroying personality because being now very easy to attack and to attack anonymously.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And to throw dirt onto someone.
Exactly, and to destroy completely someone just for the fact of doing it, just for the sake of doing it, for the pleasure of doing it. I mean, destroying, what's the greatest pleasure for a hunter? To kill an elephant, not to kill a rabbit. And to feel so powerful, I killed the elephant. Yes, from 1 kilometer away with the rifle. Come near to the elephant, kill the elephant with a toothpick, and then I will say you have guts. And that's the big problem of internet. It's an amazing tool, but it's a tool that can easily destroy talent as well as raise the non-talented. Basically, what's happening today is that people become famous before being good.
I understand, yes.
In our business.
Something that goes also with our dimension of the time we live in today, because everything happens faster. It has to happen faster.
We talk all the time about the artist of the moment. Is there a biggest insult for a guy who has spent 10 or 15 years of his life trying to be a good violinist, or a good singer, a good pianist, to call him of the moment? That's fast food. Mm-hmm. And fast food is quick to eat and quick to eliminate. Sorry for the vulgarity.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's our problem today. Our tools allows us to become famous, to become celebrities. The word celebrity, it's amazing. The origin of the word celebrity is amazing. People don't think about that. People think celebrity is equivalent of famous. No. Celebrity is a Greek word that means visited, several repeated times visited. Mm-hmm. So when you see someone and you visit it again and again and again and again, that becomes a celebrity even if he has nothing to say. And that's very dangerous. Of course, I believe in the democracy of internet in the sense, if you have something to say, say it. But show me your face. Tell me who you are, because maybe you're saying something great and together we can do something even greater. Okay? I don't personally suffer this because I am beyond this. I mean, I suffered this in the beginning of internet. Now at my age and after 40 years of career.
And if we think about the major figures in the opera world today, none of them has been created in the internet era. But a bit before as you and everybody contemporary to you?
The last, in almost every show business area, the last real strong-made, strong-based artists of today, all of them are older than 45, 50. Mm-hmm. The youngers are equally talented, but are fast food. And that's a pity, because that means that you have great talent in your hand and you destroy it before that talent becomes a reality. Talent is not the tree. Talent is the seed that you plant that eventually will become a tree. If you cut the tree when the tree is just this size, you will never have a tree. You have a lot of talent, but no tree. And no tree grows in one day. People asked me once, what's the reason of a long career? Okay, the reason of a long career is not to be able, I did a long career, hello. No, it's to be able to make that a talent becomes an artist. That journey needs time. It's not only about ability. You can have a 10-year-old playing the violin like Paganini, okay? But without depth, superficially. Not because there's no technique, but because there's no life experience. Life experience gives you the depth in your art. And there's no way to accelerate that at all. There's no app, no software that can accelerate the processes of maturing. Right. No. And that's where we hit the door. And that's why we are losing so much talent today, because they don't have the patience of waiting. But also because we live in a world where waiting seems to be a problem, yes, and not an advantage. So it's the whole system is the problem. It's not, you cannot blame one person, oh, the young people, oh, no, it's the system. And the system is created basically by the people who rule the world, and the people who rule the world are people of my generation. So basically, we are the guilty ones.
Povestea de dragoste a publicului din România cu José Cura este una veche și începe firește cu înregistrările video și audio ale acestuia, devenite imediat piese de rezistență pentru colecționari. În 2007, José Cura vine pentru prima oară la București, invitat în Festivalul Internațional George Enescu, într-un spectacol cu opera Carmen de Bizet la Opera Națională București. Cele mai recente două ediții ale festivalului, 2021 și 2023, ni l-au readus pe José Cura la București în ipostaza completă de cântăreț, compozitor și dirijor, ultimele două fiind modalități inteligente pentru a păstra viu atașamentul publicului față de el. In the 90s, you have redefined the idea of opera singer with a strong emphasis on drama, on this theatrical approach. And I was curious, have you ever been capable of embodying a character that you didn't feel close to your inner self?
Yes, mainly when I was young, and I had to say yes to many things because it was the difference between eating or not. And then you have to go for it, yes. And you do it.
You had to sing in order to...
Exactly, as all the young people do. I mean, there's nothing new. You have to do okay, you do it. But in what I was lucky in is mainly because of temperament, mainly because I am very stubborn and solid enough to resist, because it's a difficult game. When you as a young artist, you say no to something, you may be jeopardizing your career, because that guy to whom you say no, if it is important enough, will put a cross on you. Again, we talk about small people and big people and blah, blah. That's a long conversation. We can be here 2 days talking about that, and we will never get to the end of it. But it's humankind. This is all that humankind. I always say, can you imagine the enormous conflict of the guy who invented the wheel? Hey, I have invented the round thing that will take us far. Oh, no, just leave me my square wheel. I'm happy with it. Surely, you don't have even to think about surely, but not because they were not seeing the round wheel was the best thing, a better thing, but because they didn't invent it. So we need to stop this guy because he invented the wheel, not because the wheel is not good. It's pathetic, but we human beings are pathetic in some kinds of situations, and some other situations we are so great, and you go, how the humankind can be so different? How can we be killing people here, and here you have doctors fighting to save lives? At the same time, you say, are we crazy? Are we stupid or what? It's a never-ending conversation.
Yes, but then again, you have outlived that moment of your career when you had to think everything in order to live, and then you had the luxury to choose.
You never choose, basically. That's also a fantasy of the public, which is good, because they think, oh, the star wants to do only what he wants, and he comes and he says, I want this, and this. This is a bad Hollywood movie. What you do, really, if you're an intelligent artist, you just talk, you negotiate, and they offer you something, and you say, listen, guys, I'm sure I can do that for you, but I will not do as good as you expect from me. So why don't we find a way of doing differently so I can give you my best, because you don't only engage me to do a next thing, but you engage me because you expect from me to give you something extra than the usual artist. And to give you that something extra, I need to feel in my best. If not, I will not be able to give you that something extra. And I have turned down great projects about that, and I have heard many managers saying to me, we never had an artist with the guts of losing money, but because knowing that he would not be able to give his best in that. But then, you decide how you create your own legend. And people may say a lot of things about me, but nobody, you don't find anybody, unless you find somebody who's lying, will say that I have not integrity. So you decide what you want to be when you're an old guy.
You have always emphasized in previous interviews that the main drive that led you up to here was always a perpetual quest for change and for personal development. Well, allowing yourself a retrospective look now over the last 30 years, how do you feel you have changed from point zero up to now?
Oh, the answer is the white hair. And this is a metaphor, but it's a very clear metaphor. When I was young, they used to paint my hair white to make me look older, and now they have to paint it black to make me look younger. In that change, you have all the arc of my maturity.
What would you have liked to preserve from your youth times?
Well, physically, maybe less belly, and that my knees doesn't hurt when I stand up.
Okay.
and intellectually, I think not, because the process of growing, when you have the luck and the privilege of growing in life, doing something you love, because it's a very rare privilege to earn your living doing something you love. So you have to be to recognize that privilege. But I used to say that when I was young, I was a romantic idealist, and the characteristic of the romantic idealist is that he fires his gun against everything that moves. because we want to change everything, you know, when you're young, which is very good, and it has to be like that. Eventually you grow up and you become a stoic idealist. And you still shoot your gun, but only to those things you know they deserve a bullet. And you don't spend your bullets for nothing. So probably that's the best way of summarizing maturity in any human being who has grown up in an intelligent way.
Well, as long as you're not a realistic pessimistic, so that's...
No, pessimistic is something you will not find in my vocabulary, and also because I would not be allowed to be pessimistic, because my wife and my kids will kick my ass, but to begin with. But also because I'm not pessimistic by nature. So.
Last question, Maestro. Do you, from time to time, allow to like yourself?
No, I think it was funny because yesterday a guy from the radio choir, a beautiful radio choir, I'm so in love with this choir, and the kids also, they're amazing. It's easy to be in love with the London Philharmonic. I know that orchestra for 25 years and they are amazing, so it's not surprised to be in love with them. But I never ever worked before with these radio choirs and they are so amazing. And one of them yesterday brought me a recording, my first recording with London Philharmonic, which was done 25 years ago. And it's this Puccini album.
Yeah, the recital, of course.
Yeah, and I realized watching it, not only that I look like my son in the picture, but also that I never heard that album since the recording. And I think that's something, I never talk about this with my colleagues, but I think it's something very recurrent, that once, as an artist, when you've done something, you just turn the page. Because you know that whatever you do, if you listen to what you did, you will not like it. Which is good, in a way, because that means you are not getting there, sitting down on your... Yes. Exactly, so you just keep on moving, keep on going, and that's the secret. So no, I never turned back to say, wow, that was great, I'm amazing. You know, because every time I look at me, oh my God, what was that? It's so embarrassing. And then I ask my wife, was that so embarrassing? No, that was great. What are you talking about? But I look pathetic, so I better not.
I understand. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Doamnelor, domnilor, o nouă ediție limitată se închide aici. Sunt Marius Constantinescu, trăiți nelimitat!